You see, that 7-Eleven right there is where pretty much the most hated live streamer in the world made one of the worst decisions of his life by decided to getting belligerently drunk, throwing noodles around, and then cussing out an elderly store employee.
And that is just absolutely insane. Throwing noodles. Who throws noodles? It's the most immature thing that I could think of that somebody could do. And you know what? I think it's kind of funny, and I think that's why he did it. He knew it was going to be funny. But you don't do that, man. Even if it's funny, you don't let the intrusive thoughts win. I think Johnny Somali altogether is just himself an intrusive thought. He intruded my thoughts, and now I'm sitting here making content about it. That's my intrusive thoughts.
This basically kickstarted his downfall here in Korea because it was after that incident that things started to crumble together for him.
And this caused a ripple effect that put enough negative attention on his behavior that he got the attention of the Korean government. And now with all the official charges placed on him, he's now facing over a decade in Korean prison. So today, we're gonna head over to his trial.
A decade? A decade. I don't think he'll actually see a decade. Maybe he will. That'd be actually insane if Johnny Somali received a decade in prison. And he just won't stop. He just won't stop. He's even trying to troll the court. What do you think's gonna happen, bro? You think Daddy Trump is gonna come save you? Because he doesn't care if he looks into your track record and your history and what you've been doing over there in other countries. He's probably just gonna tell you to get fucked, bro.
So over the past few years, this streamer has built a small career off of going to countries that have a reputation of being extremely polite, taking advantage of this and harassing people for his own content. And not too long after he started doing this, he ended up in jail in Japan for a little bit over 3 months while he was awaiting his trial. Eventually, he only ended up receiving a fine and a slap on the wrist.
He did 3 months in jail, and he still didn't learn his lesson. Bro, I did, like, not even a week in jail, and that shit sucked. Mostly because we didn't have a TV. We were supposed to have a TV, and a guy got in there before me and destroyed it. Rough.
And he chose to double down on the style of content. So he then went to Israel, but unfortunately for him, he was attacked multiple times, had a lot of interactions with the police, and ended up fleeing the country before something happened to him. This is where he decided to go to Korea and try this format that he did in Japan over here. And unfortunately, he did this for a while until he flew just a little bit too close to the sun.
So essentially, he was streaming exactly from right here.
And obviously, that upset a lot of people, including the Korean government. And naturally, he is his own worst enemy because he films and live streams everything that he does.
Dude thought he was invincible until he pissed off an entire country, including the country's government. He probably thinks he's badass because he's like, look how rebellious I am. I got the entire Korean government on my back, and he still thinks he's invincible. Like, what is this dude even trying to prove? He's proving that he's a moron and he's going to do 10 years in prison in Korea with a bunch of Chinese people, I heard.
So all the Korean officials have to do is just sit and go through all of his live streams, which they all have saved, and essentially say, oh, well, you did this, you did this, you did this. We can charge you for this, this, and this. And when those charges can drop, that can be whenever.
I heard that there was a mole on the inside. One of Johnny Somali's mods was a mole, and he was secretly recording all of the live streams and saving them, and he sent 10 hours of footage to a Toby Nuxanor legal mindset. Nuxanor said this. That's where I heard it.
In theory, they can just keep on opening more and more cases against him based on his past content. And under no circumstances can Johnny leave the country until all of his cases are finished, all of his time is served, and all of his fines are paid. But for some reason, up until now, Johnny thought he was going to get away easily. But as you can see, I flew out to Korea to go to the trial and report right back to you guys exactly how things went down.
Atozy is actually a G for this. Does anybody else do things like this where the person that they're talking shit about online, they end up going to the place that they're on trial and seeing their downfall, witnessing it live in front of their eyes to report back to us? And we're just eating up all that chaos, man. We all love it. I love it. I don't love that this had to happen, but I love that since it did happen, that he is facing 10 years in Korean prison.
So it's now a couple days before the trial, and he's now been hit with yet another charge of obstruction of business. Dude is essentially collecting charges like he's Thanos collecting Infinity Stones.
Did you just say Thanos? Is it Thanos? In the movies, it's Thanos. Is it supposed to be Thanos?
Now, he's sitting there with a grand total of about 2 charges for obstruction of business and 2 misdemeanor charges.
The most ironic thing about all this is I feel like I'm actually taking Johnny's trial more seriously than him when it's his freedom that's on the line. I dragged my jet-lagged self out to the trial 2 hours before it started because I wanted to be there at a minimum an hour early so I could guarantee myself a seat in the Saal. Saal is Norwegian. To guarantee myself a seat in the courtroom. But this dude decided to go live drunk at 3 in the morning and live stream for like 3 hours.
Why would you do that? Why did he do that? Is it cope? Is he trying to cope with the fact that he's going to court the next morning? Honestly, I kind of respect it a little bit. I don't respect Johnny Somali, but I expect the effort. But I respect the effort. He's really trying to snowball his downfall as hard as he can. He wants to get the biggest snowball, roll it down this hill. And at the bottom of the hill, it's Seoul, where he's going to be serving prison. Where he's going to be serving in prison for 10 years, maybe, hopefully. What's he going to do when he gets out? What's he going to do when he gets back? Probably the same shit.
When he had to be in the court by like 8:50. And here, in his own fashion, he started trash talking the Korean government and accidentally leaked that he had more charges coming his way.
National Intelligence Security Charge. National Intelligence Security Charge. Does anybody know what the that means?
This is what happens to people when they spend their entire lives on social media watching degeneracy. It all just adds up to this. Johnny Somali and Ice Poseidon and other people like these two. Ice Poseidon apparently is in trouble now also with the same Korean government that is crashing down on Johnny Somali. What is with these live streamers? I mean, I understand the gratification of people thinking you're hilarious for bullying people, and being a piece of shit, but don't be a piece of shit. I don't know what else to say. And I'll be looking forward to the fall of Ice Poseidon also, even though he's already fallen, but I didn't think he could fall any harder. Here we are.
They say the National Intelligence Service is gonna come get me. Tell them come find me. I ain't scared of them.
How is this guy playing his cards in the dumbest way possible every single time? I mean, like, it's like every decision he makes is going to make everything infinitely worse for himself. He just does not want to be a free man. But
Has anybody ever seen Kung Pao? Johnny Somali is like Wimp Lo. Is that his name? The guy that they trained to be bad on purpose? As a joke. I am bleeding. That makes me the victor.
as many of you guys know, he's been running around promoting North Korea in his streams on the metro station by blasting the national anthem and by blasting various speeches by Kim Jong-un. And then he's been running around, you know, preaching positivity about North Korea while he's been streaming. And if you know anything about North Korea and South Korea, you would know that's an unwise thing to do. It's like he's actively making his life harder on purpose for himself. And that wasn't the only charge. He also accidentally leaked that he was getting a charge that was infinitely worse while using a racial slur to the prosecutors and judge.
I don't know what he thinks he's doing. I don't know why he's doing this. Does he think that he's going to get out of it? That's crazy to me. Actually, you know what? I don't think he's thinking at all. I think he's just got social media brain and he thinks that he's going to get out of this because he's always gotten out of it. He's never had any kind of trouble come his way except for, you know, maybe serving 3 months in jail and then making more money than ever when he gets out because people know about him now. That's not what's going to happen in this situation. Or does he even care? Does he even want to live? Is he depressed? I don't know, man. It's just so dumb. So stupid. I don't think he's thinking at all. I think he's just living by the moment and doesn't actually think anything's going to happen until it does. And then he's fucked.
You think this is a game? They writing this in language.
And this is where things get interesting because it shows how the prosecutors are playing against him. Because this is a way more serious charge and it's a completely separate case. Meaning, if he pleads guilty to the smaller charges, they can then charge him in this case as a repeat offender. Meaning, they'll be going way harder on him with the sentencing. So keep that in mind for later, but apparently he just doesn't care.
I hope they do go harder on him. I hope they throw the book at him. I hope they throw multiple books at him. I hope that he gets charged in the United States also for being a moron and ruining everything for other streamers. I've been seeing other streamers get attacked that don't deserve to be attacked. Some of them I see get attacked that do deserve to be attacked. Like Ice Poseidon. I don't want to see people attacked, but if you're doing a bunch of stupid shit online and you get attacked, I'm gonna laugh at you.
Because he just announced that no matter what, he's just gonna stream and make money even though he legally cannot.
I don't give a. These gonna lock me in the country. I'm gonna make bread. If these lock me in the country, I'm gonna make bread. I don't give a. I don't give a. Send that to the prosecutor. My live stream donators, they gonna get it rich and oiled.
The only thing that your bread is gonna give to you is you'll have more commissary in prison. I don't know what the commissary is like in Korea, but I guarantee you it's not as good as here in America, where you can get the best potato chips of all time and like snack cakes and all that kind of stuff, sodas. You're going to be getting weird Korean snacks that you're going to be wasting your commissary funds on because you don't know what they are and you don't speak the language. He's going to come out learning quite a bit of Korean, I think. But if he has this attitude going into prison, he's going to end up dead from the Korean mafia.
Because they feel bad that I've been locked here. Snitching. Johnny Somali is making money. Yeah, don't lock me in the country, Korean corrupt ass government.
Corrupt. They may be corrupt, but you put yourself here, man. You went to the country to cause trouble, and now they won't let you leave because you're in trouble.
If the government don't want me to work, I'm not working. I'm streaming. Two different things.
No, this is income. You're working still.
I could be at Home Depot or selling my. That's working. Shut the up.
All of this is just so incredibly self-inflicted. Maybe people would have a little bit of sympathy for him if he didn't spend the last 2 years harassing strangers in public for profit. Dude is literally just traveling to be a burden to other people's societies as a career. And he's admitted that's how he makes his money. So this is his occupation. And clearly he doesn't care about anyone except for himself, and he will just do anything to make money. And he's admitted that himself.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it, bro. Like, you're gonna come up to me, bro. Why are you being other people in other countries? Why are you bullying people in other countries? For money, like, for clout. I've said it many times.
But if he cared so much about himself, I'm surprised he did this before showing up to court. Because wouldn't he want freedom? Because on his stream, knowing he had court in just a few hours, he drank until he vomited all over the place.
I'm giving y'all the first viral moment tonight.
Please don't show it.
Oh my god, I threw up everything. Y'all wanna see this? Oh my god.
And obviously, yeah, that happened just a few hours before he was supposed to meet up for court. So naturally, he overslept.
I think he's just playing a character at that point. I think he was drinking to cope with the fact that he got himself put in trouble and he doesn't know how to get himself out of it because he's an idiot and he just can't stop doing the things that he does because it's making him more and more money and he's got more eyes on them than blah, blah, blah. He's got more eyes on him than ever before. This is what fame does to people, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get famous until you have the head to be famous. Don't be famous unless you're a normal person. Don't be mentally ill and then try to get famous. But I guess he didn't notice it. He didn't notice that he had issues. But guess what? Governments don't care if you're causing a burden on society. Unless you're in like New York or Los Angeles or some city like that here in America.
But before he ended the stream, he also announced that he was going to live stream during the trial.
The trial is live tomorrow, and I will be live streaming the trial.
You know, while he's at it, what's another felony for him?
So it's Friday morning. We're now heading to the Johnny Somali lawsuit, which is definitely going to be very interesting because I feel like it's going to go one of, three ways. It's like either he gets a complete slap on the wrist and he's like, all right, get out of here.
Dude is actually insane if he thinks that you're allowed to live stream a court case in court yourself to your audience. They'll be able to live stream it, maybe, but it's not going to be really to the world. It's going to be to the presses and the masses. And that's really only in the United States. Are there any other countries that'll let you, not let you, but that live stream their court cases? Especially if it's high profile? Because I don't think so. Johnny Somali's so cooked, man. He's so cooked.
Two, they want to go somewhere in the middle of the road where they give him some punishment, but also don't want him here for too long. Or three, the judge just really drops the hammer down on him and he serves quite a while here. And I feel like the second option is the most likely outcome, but also, who knows? Because I don't know how judges normally handle cases here.
Oh, bro. Oh, dude. You don't even know the stupidity of Johnny Somali so far. Because he is going to 100% try to live stream in court, and he's going to troll. Even if he can't live stream, he's going to troll hard. And they're going to be disrespected, and they're going to hate him. He's going to totally destroy himself. For clout. For money. Well, guess what? You're not allowed to make money in prison unless you work for cents on the hour.
First time in Seoul. Got Hans with me. He's editor of the channel, one of the editors. Him alongside of Daniel. Unfortunately, Daniel was sick, so he couldn't come out to Korea. But me and Hans are holding down the fort. I'm actually shocked right now. So we just found out that Johnny's been streaming all night, and he's incredibly drunk. And apparently he's been doing like text-to-speech donation shots, and his chat, of course, got him incredibly drunk before his papers, or not before his papers, before his trial. And the reason I mentioned papers is because apparently he showed his papers on stream, and apparently he's been indicted for some crazier crimes than what we even thought. So this is going to be an interesting day, to put it lightly. If he doesn't show up, what happens?
They will put it off for a month.
Okay.
Or in his case, in this very special case, he might be detained.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's made such a stink that they might feel that he's a risk, so they'll probably arrest him. Potentially, that'll be funny.
Apparently another Korean streamer threw a brick through a window here.
The window. Yeah. He broke the window over there.
Wow.
This other Korean streamer. Yeah. Young one.
So what's the prediction of how long Johnny's going to get, you guys think?
What do we predict his sentence will
Yeah.
be? 3 to 5 years.
Really?
Yeah,
And he'll be held here in Korea for that.
in prison.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
He'll go to the foreign prison, which is not fun. He'll have lots of Chinese friends there to keep him.
Didn't Johnny Somali shit all over the Chinese people also? I'm pretty sure I remember that being a thing. Like, he just completely destroyed himself in every Asian country. I can't. Dude, it is just... We're watching the downfall of a man who created the downfall himself. Because he's addicted to doing things for his chat. Don't listen to the chat, man. There are a bunch of degenerates that want to see you die. And they're gonna laugh about it. What are you doing? You ain't gonna be seeing the chat no more. The chat is gonna be the chatter from the people in the other cells talking to themselves because they're insane
company, and he's been making fun of China as well, so that'll go over brilliantly.
Yeah.
He's about to find out that being in an Asian prison is not.
It doesn't help when you have multiple charges stacked against you.
No.
This is the room right here. And so there'll be a look deeper with the all the cases.
Basically.
Johnny Somali is not going to do well in prison. He's way too annoying. He's going to have to chill himself out and relax in there, or they're gonna eat him alive. Because let me tell you something about people that are in jail and in prison. They don't like to be annoyed. I got put in a jail cell with a guy, and I was in there for probably 2 days. This guy was in there for a month. And then they bring in some meth head that is ate an 8-ball before he got in there, and they put him in there with us and didn't give him a mat to put on his metal bunk bed. We all had our own bunk beds. And dude kept just randomly kicking the top of the bunk bed, waking us up when we're trying to sleep, and won't stop talking to himself, talking to us. And I was plotting what I could do to hurt this guy. And then the guy I was in there with, before the meth head showed up, said, "Hey, you want to help me break this guy's leg to get him out of here?" Good thing I was let out the next morning, because I probably would have done it.
I guess the big question is, will he show up?
Right.
Yeah, he's wasted at the moment, so.
We've been covering him for what, like a year and a half, and every video I make on him, I'm like, how is this possible? How is he finding a new low? And even today, he found a new low, or tonight. He was rambling about the
He
judge.
was rambling about the judge. He was rambling about everything. He showed the document that he's legally not allowed to show, that you have a picture of, which shows that he's basically, the police have sent the crimes charges,
Fake charges to the prosecutor in the Eastern District.
Okay, so he's...
And he dared them to come after him. He dared them to come after him for showing these papers. Well, guess what? They saw it. No shot they didn't see it. Because the chat, they grabbed all that and they sent it to the government. 100% they did that. You don't dare a government to come get you for new charges while you're already waiting for court and you're drunk 3 hours before your trial. He was drunk at the trial. How insane!
So he shouldn't show that. Yeah, but
No,
he
not
shouldn't show
confirmed.
that.
Not confirmed. It's at the prosecutors, but there's a very high chance that they will indict.
Yeah.
And maybe they have indicted. We don't know yet, but we will find out.
So could that add more charges for him as well?
For that. No, he can show that. I mean, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
He pleaded guilty to the other charges that they had, which was obstruction of business, carrying a rotting fish and threatening people with it in public, twerking on the train and that kind of thing.
Right. The dapper gentleman who was in the recap I did after the stream, he did a court summary where essentially he wrote down everything that happened during the courtroom. So here we have Johnny Somali court case, March 7th, 2025, first hearing. 9:50, courtroom doors open. 9:51. Courtroom layout and observations. Atosi begins to make a courtroom sketch. Just in case you were wondering, this is my courtroom sketch here. So this is exactly what the courtroom looked like from the podium where we were sitting. So you have the judge in the center there, the Korean flag. Behind him, you have the prosecution on one side and then the defense on the other side. And as you can see, Johnny's stanced up in a very oversized white suit. And then obviously in the middle there, you had the interpreters because there was no witnesses that was called to this case yet.
Man, I would have loved to see what Johnny Somali looked like in this. Hopefully we get a glimpse of it later. He's like, oh, this is what I was wearing. Here's the hat that I was wearing. I'd really like to see that.
Hearings begin. 10:09, Ramzi Khalid Ismail is called to the stand. His lawyer informs the judge that he is attempting to contact him. The entire court waits. The judge appears mildly irritated. 10:11, delay confirmed. The lawyer finally makes contact with Ramzi and informs the court that he will arrive 15 minutes late. At 11, Johnny Somali is absent. Johnny has still not appeared in court. Given that he was drinking all night, it is possible that he is still intoxicated. His lawyer appears to be attempting to sober him up. 11:09, Ramzi arrives.
That lawyer, man. That lawyer is a G. He's just riding this, making as much money as he can, and everything that Johnny Somali does wrong is just another paycheck, because that means that he has to keep being Johnny Somali's lawyer. His lawyer appears to be attempting to sober him up. Why even try? You know this guy's going down. You might as well just let him.
The courtroom informed Ramsey that he is on his way up the stairs. The judge and prosecution appeared mildly irritated. 11:11. Ramsey enters the courtroom looking very rough. He is wearing an ill-fitted gray suit that is too large for him and a red MAGA cap. As he enters, he smirks at Atosi and me. He then notices Legal Mindset, who is slightly in his blind spot. Seeing Legal Mindset, he grins foolishly and sticks his tongue out at him. Hank follows closely behind. In an attempt to appear confident, Ramsey fails to follow courtroom protocol. He is told to remove his hat, which he does. However, while smirking at Legal Mindset, he absent-mindedly puts it back on.
Every step of the way, he's just disrespecting the entire court. Shows up late, wearing a giant, ridiculous-looking suit with a ridiculous-looking hat. Takes it off, puts it back on, sticks his tongue out at a guy. He's just wanting the maximum charges. He's wanting the maximum sentence. Why? So he'd be famous? What's the point? Everybody's gonna forget about you while you're in prison, except for maybe the commentary video about what is happening to Johnny Somali in prison every once in a while.
The court officer immediately instructs him to remove it again. He then attempts to sit in the interpreter's seat and is told to move. So he originally went to the center, but obviously he can't be there, so he had to go to the defense side. After a brief moment of confusion, he finds his lawyer and sits beside him. He once again glances at Legal Mindset, smirks, and sticks out his tongue. The judge and prosecution observe everything. In the audience, two female journalists sit directly in front of us. A white male journalist sits on the left-hand side of the courtroom, all of them rapidly taking notes on their laptops.
They're making bank. Everybody in this courtroom that has anything to do with posting content online, they're making money, man. They're making that moolah because of this moron. And he's just gonna lose all of his money and all of his fans because he's gonna be sitting in a Korean prison where he's not gonna be allowed to live stream. I guarantee you that he is going to figure out a way to live stream. He's probably going to get a phone or something, and he's going to get caught immediately. Extra charges thrown on him.
Ramsey is instructed to stand for the judge. His demeanor is disrespectful and irreverent. The judge asks for his occupation, to which he falsely claims to be a student. The judge raises an eyebrow, but does not otherwise react.
He knows. He knows what your occupation is. Why would you lie? He has to ask that as a formality.
When asked to confirm his address, Ramsey suddenly adopts a confused and helpless foreigner persona. He pretends to not know his address because he does not speak Korean. The judge informs him that he may speak English and simply state the numbers. It is evident that the judge understands and likely speaks English.
This guy, Johnny Somali, he is 100% racist against Asians. And he also knows that there's a whole culture around racism against Asians. And he's definitely using that to his advantage, but he's got the disadvantage in this situation.
The judge asks for his nationality, to which he promptly responds the United States of America. Ramsey stands sloppily in his oversized suit, hands in his pockets while speaking to the judge. Oh, and also just to add more context, so Ramsey is speaking to a translator who is then talking to the judge in Korean. But as stated, it seemed very clear the judge fully understood Ramsey. And then obviously to add more context, if it's not clear, Ramsey is Johnny Somali. 11:15, judge issues a warning. The judge warns Ramsey that failure to attend future hearings could result in a harsh sentence in his absence. 11:16, charges were read by the prosecution. The prosecution reads out the 3 charges against Ramsey. 1. Disruption of business. Ramsey entered a 7-Eleven and began drinking alcohol, which is illegal in Korea. When the elderly shop owner asked him to stop, he became verbally abusive. He threw ramen inside the store and continued drinking anyway. He played loud music, danced drunkenly, and harassed customers as they entered. His actions caused financial harm to the business and emotional distress to the owner. The prosecutor's language mirrors the strict legal vocabulary used in the previous drug dealer's case that we witnessed before Ramsey's case, emphasizing the social damage that Ramsey's actions caused. 2. Public harassment with a rotting fish. Ramsey carried a rotting fish in a plastic bag and harassed people. When passengers asked him to remove the fish from the bus, he ignored them. He randomly approached pedestrians with a rotting fish, disturbing social order and making people feel unsafe. Upon hearing about the rotting
Disturbing social order in a place where they have made social order a part of their culture.
fish, the judge slightly tilts his head and reviews the charges, seemingly in disbelief. However, he remains stone-faced and does not comment. And then the 3rd charge is lewd conduct on public transportation. Ramsey was accused of sexually suggestive dancing and playing loud music on the bus and in train.
I know a little bit about the culture of Korea and Japan, where they like quiet time on the train. They don't even talk. And he's in there with a rotting fish, dancing and playing loud music and twerking and what have you. Specifically accused of twerking, which is considered deviant and sexual in Korea. Not just in Korea, I think it's deviant and sexual also. I don't think twerking is dancing. I don't think it should count as dancing. I think it is like a thing that spawned out of slut culture.
He was specifically accused, in quote, of twerking, which is considered deviant in Korea.
I'm not doing it. Oh, yeah, no.
This was a statue Johnny twerked on.
And that's apparently the first time the word twerking has ever been used in a court case in Korea. 1118, the unexpected fourth charge. The judge asks Ramsey if he's received the letter of the fourth charge. Both Ramsey and his lawyer appeared confused. The lawyer receives a new charge and reviews it. Then the judge asks the defense how they wish to plead. Ramsey's lawyer states that he pleads guilty to all charges except for the new charge, which they have not yet reviewed. The judge asks how much time the defense requires. The lawyer requests 3 weeks to review the new charge. The judge then grants the request, and then the hearing of the fourth charge is scheduled for April 9th, 2025. Ramsey no longer smiles and appears very concerned.
Good. I hope you are. Finally, he's getting some comeuppance. More like come downins. Because this is his downfall that we're witnessing. I can't wait for 3 more weeks to see what this is going to really turn out to be. What this charge is. Does he say it in this video? Do we know what this charge is?
1120, judge's final word. The judge sternly warns Ramsey to not be late for the next hearing. The judge looks mildly annoyed, which in Korean culture indicates that he is actually very annoyed. 1122, court adjourns. We stand and exit the courtroom, leaving Ramsey behind. After the hearing, a journalist asked Ramsey why he wore a MAGA cap and kept putting it back on. Ramsey responded, "Because I can do whatever I want. Korea is a vassal state of America."
Wow. Dude is actually cooked. He's actually insane. He thinks that Korea is owned by the United States, when really we just provide military protection for them a little bit. And we have some trade deals and some other things. It's not that the United States owns Korea and that they can just say, hey, no, you can't put this dude in prison. Even if they had the power to do that, they wouldn't do that in this case. Bro is so cooked, man. He is so done for. And maybe this will be a deterrent for anybody else that's going to try and do the same thing. Or maybe it's going to cause even more people to try it and try to overwhelm the country because America owns South Korea. It ain't like that, bro. It is not like that.
Again, that is a quote from him. His freedom is in Korea's hands right now. Why he's acting like this now, I don't know. But also, I have no idea why he's done 99% of the stuff that we've been covering him doing.
Because he's mentally ill? Or actually, no. Mentally ill, that means there's a possibility for a cure because he's sick. No, dude is deranged. Dude is straight got fried brain. It must have happened when he was born, dropped on his head 5 or 6 times in a row within 10 minutes.
But after the trial, we went and had lunch and discussed the trial.
First trial case for him. Very fascinating. Apparently he pled guilty to the first set of charges, and he now has another court date and a separate trial, or a separate case.
Can you do a quick run through about the fish thing? Or like, so what?
I wonder if he's going to do the same thing for the next trial. He's gonna do a live stream, drunk, for the chat, show up late, which he was warned not to do. If he does that, I think that he's going to be immediately arrested. He might find a way out of this if he treats the next court date like it's an actual serious event and that he's not invincible. He's still definitely going to prison. He's going to get something. And he's going to be banned from the country. He might even be banned from leaving the United States. He should have been doing this stuff in the United States in the first place, but we all know why he didn't. Because anywhere but the cities, he'd get shot legally. And then in the cities, he would get shot anyway. He's going to have to go and work at McDonald's or something. What's he going to do when he gets out of this? Because he's going to be a felon. Straight up. A felon in another country, for that matter. All done to himself. I can't believe people like this actually exist.
Happens.
So basically, he got on the public transport with a rotten fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm aware of the story, but what did the judge say about all that?
They indicted him for it because it's disturbance of business, and the public transport here is technically a private company. Like, it's half government owned, but it's still a private company.
On the bus that he refused to leave, wasn't the bus manager there? Like the owner? Not the owner of the... Was it the owner? It was either the manager of the bus or the bus stations or the actual owner. And that's insane. That is like insane timing. Insane coincidence. This whole situation's insane from top to bottom. And at the bottom is that snowball. And it's crashed.
So it's still obstruction of business, and he was harassing people with the fish randomly in the street for no reason. They said specifically he was approaching people for no reason and harassing them with a rotten fish.
Well, it wasn't for no reason. There was a reason, and it was money. It was for money and clout. He said it before.
Okay.
So it's kind of, it goes into harassment and also the obstruction of business. Yeah. Because it made public transport, people felt unsafe, they said.
So that counted as an obstruction of business as well, not only just minor charges? That was a minor charges or a misdemeanor.
Like harassment.
Yeah. And then the second minor charges was him on the subway twerking.
Subway twerking, playing loud music. Playing loud music and disrupting people, making them feel unsafe on public transport.
What did the judge say or react to any of that? Did he give any?
I thought that he was receiving a felony. Apparently, these are just misdemeanors, and you can serve a lot of prison time for stacked misdemeanors. Apparently, if you get enough misdemeanors, does that equate a felony? I really want to see this guy get a felony. Or maybe that fourth charge is the felony charge.
He just kind of basically didn't show much response, he was just noting down what the charges were. And as Johnny was walking in making faces, the judge noticed that he was making faces, so it's probably not going to count in his favor.
Right.
Tried to wear the hat as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he tried to wear a hat.
He tried to wear the Trump hat.
MAGA hat. I can't wear my hat.
Yeah, the fact that they made him take it off twice was hilarious.
Oh man.
And he wore a very badly fitting suit.
That's Hank.
It's Hank suits. That's got too much padding.
Yeah, it was like a kid wearing his dad's suit. It was embarrassing.
After lunch, I ended up trying to live stream multiple times, but couldn't get a decent internet connection, so we ended up going to a Starbucks to where I could actually stream. And that's how we got this VOD, which is still up on my channel. And remember what I said about him pleading guilty? Well, that's exactly what happened because, you know, he showed up drunk and pled guilty to 3 of those charges, which means no matter what, he's going to become a convicted criminal in Korea because he just pleaded guilty. So he's now banned from Korea when they finally let him leave here after he served all of his time and paid all of his fines. And in future cases against him, he'll be tried as a repeat offender, meaning he'll be getting a way harsher sentence. And in these future cases, it seems like these charges are way harsher. But somehow, after all of that, he still thinks that he's not even going to spend any jail time in Korea and he's going to be a free man soon. And
because America's going to come save him. Daddy Trump, come on, come save Johnny Somali. You know what Trump would say if somebody brought this up to him? I'll look into it. And then he'll look into it and nobody is ever going to say anything about it again. Too bad for him. Serving time in prison with a bunch of people that he hates, and they also hate him. And he's 100% gonna annoy everybody. He might even pull some new charges while he's in prison.
not only that, he also admitted to showing up drunk and not caring about his case on a live stream. After all that,
they're claiming that like I came in and I was.
Oh my God. He just won't stop. He can't stop. They're keeping track of him. They're watching every live stream he's doing, even if they're not directly watching it themselves. People are sending this footage in. Does he think that Koreans don't speak English?
Blindsided by the fact that I had a new charge and was like sitting in the wrong place and was nervous. This was a breeze, and the only reason I'm ready to start going live again, because honestly I have no fear. Like, that's really, these people are clout chasing off my name so badly because these from Pakistan saying
They're clout chasing off of his name. What do they stand to gain other than getting you off the street and using you as an example for other streamers to not try this bullshit? They're gonna end up banning streamers from being out in public streaming. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it. Too bad for the people that are actually doing good out here that are streaming, but like, there's just too many degenerates making money from their chat, just, you know, wanting to see somebody be a nuisance and preying on their downfall.
I arrived late and hungover. Okay, they're not lying about that part. I'll give you that. I was late to the court by like an hour. I was hungover. I'm gonna be honest about that. But it wasn't really that big of a deal. It wasn't really that big of a deal. You know, I showed up drunk. I showed up happy. Like, but they got me for like spilling a cup of noodles. They got me for carrying a stinky fish. They got me for some, bro. Like, this, you can't go to jail for that in any country. I know for a fact.
What? Try that in Saudi Arabia. Try that in like Israel, you know? No. He's definitely seeing jail time for this. And if he doesn't, if he somehow wiggles his way out of this, it's just going to get worse and he is going to end up doing jail time. He's not going to calm down. He's going to go harder than ever because he's really going to think he's invincible. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I'm not gonna go to jail. Not one day in jail, but I have the footage of me and Hank leaving the court laughing our asses off. Like, bro, we're not taking this serious.
Dude, do you not care about your freedom anymore? I mean, unfortunately for him, this was likely his last conversation with his lawyer.
We got good and bad news. Good news, we got your payment, buddy. Bad news, they gave you life. Sayonara.
Except he's using a public defender, so I mean, you get what you pay for. He's not paying them anything. And this charge, which is way more serious, is apparently the creation and distribution of the deepfake video of himself making out with another Korean female streamer, which is a massive charge in Korea because that's extremely illegal. And from that charge alone, if he's unlucky enough, that could be another decade in prison. And I mean, just by looking at how he's treating this case, it's not like he's playing his cards right to get any sympathy from the judge.
I think he thinks that all the laws work the same as in the United States. He's thinking that all of these things I'm doing, I know what I'd get charged in the United States, and it'd be a slap on the wrist. And he keeps getting a slap on the wrist from all these places. Like, that's probably why he thinks nothing's going to happen, because nothing's ever happened to him. Except for that one time he did 3 months in jail. But this isn't going to be 3 months in jail. This is going to be probably 10 years in a Korean prison. And he just won't stop. He's just going to keep stacking on charges. I wonder if he's going to get even more by the time he's got court again in, what, 3 weeks?
I'm in disbelief, honestly. Why would you willingly just absolutely destroy your life and freedom to live stream for like 40 people?
Because he doesn't think that's what he's doing.
But as we mentioned earlier, there was another journalist who was there who asked him the question where he said that he was wearing the MAGA hat because Korea is a vassal state of America. That's his words, absolutely not mine. And he's saying this right after the US announced they were looking into dropping tariffs on South Korea. So again, optics-wise, that is a terrible decision to make. I guess his Hail Mary is he's thinking Trump's gonna come save him because he's wearing...
That's what I was saying. He thinks Daddy Trump's coming to get him out of this situation because the United States owns South Korea. That's not how that works, bro. Maybe if you were like Elon Musk or somebody that got arrested for causing a scene in public. But you ain't Elon Musk. You're just some random guy that carried a fish around and twerked on a statue.
That hat, wake up call. That's not gonna happen, buddy. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to see what happens. Either way, it really does not look like it's gonna go well for him. Everyone I've talked to have estimated anywhere from 3 to 5 years is a realistic term for this case. Then we have all the future things that could happen. So who knows?
That could happen or that will happen, because I think he's going to do some other stupid stuff. And you know, if you just do a few little things in other countries, they go harder on you if you're from outside the country coming in to cause problems. I mean, just look at the United States as an example. We don't even go that hard. And look what we do to immigrants who cause trouble here. We send them to Guantanamo Bay and Guatemala. You go to foreign prisons, man. And that's what they're going to do to him. They're going to send him to a foreign prison. Like a prison for foreigners. Which I guarantee you isn't going to be as nice as where they're going to put regular South Koreans who go to prison.
How much time he'll actually end up getting. If this video gets 100,000 likes, I will fly out and go to a future case again. Obviously, if you're new here, welcome to my channel and feel free to subscribe. And if you want to see some extra behind the scenes vlogs of this trip, feel free to become a member of this channel. And of course, then that would help fund future travels for my videos. But other than that, I hope I see you guys in the next video. All right, so after recording this video, I found out Johnny just released a response to our video talking about the trial. So I'll release a response to that shortly.
If you come right here.
Johnny Somali released a response. I'm not going to watch that. I will watch the Atozi response to the response, because he is going to 100% have Johnny Somali's response in his video. Oh boy, I can't wait. Once again, I've got my gaming channel down there in the description right now. I'm playing Sly Cooper. It'd be real fun if you'd come hang out, man. I'm in the comments on this channel and on the other channel. And I've got my link tree down there if you want to follow me on all my other places, you know. And check out my spread shop. Nobody ever checks out my spread shop. I got good stuff in there.
Welcome fire, higher and higher, night will last forever.